South African football fans, we've got Hugo Broos, Sundowns, and Orlando Pirates to thank for the improvement that we are seeing in the Bafana Bafana team. This is after the Bafana Bafana team last night defeated Benin by 2-0. This is the match that was played in Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire. Although this was the home match for Benin, it had to be played out in Ivory Coast because Benin is amongst the countries that currently do not have the stadiums or the facilities that meet the FIFA and the CAF requirements in terms of hosting the FIFA and CAF international matches. So the match had to be played in Ivory Coast. This was a Group C match. This is a Group C, the group that is made of your Nigeria, Rwanda, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, Benin, and of course South Africa, right? So this match was played last night on the 25th of January in Ivory Coast. South Africa scored the 2 goals in the second half. Both the South African goals were scored in the second half, were scored by Lyle Foster and Jaden Adams. Jaden Adams has scored 2 goals for South Africa in consecutive matches. He's quite a promising youngster who's showing a lot of promise. So I'm saying we have to thank Hugo Broos for this, because when Hugo Broos took over, South Africa, Bafana Bafana was in shambles. Remember, he took over from Coach Molefi. When he took over, we had just failed to qualify for the World Cup and the Cup of Nations, the AFCON. So Hugo Broos came in, brought quite a lot of changes. He came in, and remember when he came in, he wanted to bring to give more youngsters the opportunity to play. Where he said the players who are a bit older will not play in his team. But of course, as time progressed, he realized, remember, he was appointed in 2021. So as the time progressed and all of that, he realized that he actually does need some of these senior players, your Themba Zwanes and others. Then he started to reintroduce them into the team. So you look at his record when he took over in 2021 to now. Look at the fact that we've qualified for the last AFCON, which was played in 2024, where South Africa came third because South Africa lost in the semi-finals. They lost to Nigeria on penalties. That's a serious improvement looking at where he took the team from. We've just recently qualified for the Cup of Nations that we played in Morocco. We've qualified. So now even in terms of the World Cup qualifiers in our Group C, which is Group C, we are currently number 1 in that group, having collected 13 points. We've collected 13 points, and the country or the team that is positioned second behind South Africa, which is Rwanda, only has 8 points. So there's a 5-point gap between South Africa, which is placed at number 1, and Rwanda, which is placed at number 2. So that's quite a serious improvement. We no longer need calculators. In terms of South Africa, when it came to the qualifiers for these major tournaments, we'd always needed calculators and all of that, have to crack our heads. This one needs to beat that one, so we are able to qualify, the permutations and all of that. Luckily, we no longer find ourselves in a situation where we need all of that. So we need to give kudos to Hugo Broos for that, and must also give kudos to Mamelodi Sundowns. Mamelodi Sundowns has been consistently campaigning in the CAF Champions League. Not only just campaigning to add numbers, but campaigning and competing, right? And competing. Orlando Pirates has also joined them, because if you see in terms of the team, 80% of that team is made of players from Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates. This goes to show the importance of ensuring that our teams in South Africa, our clubs, they take these intercontinental competitions quite seriously to ensure that our players are able to compete. So whenever Bafana Bafana plays these international competitions, our players do not get stage fright. They are used to the conditions and the level and the standard. So we need to give kudos to those teams, being Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns, for that. Looking at the match, it was not necessarily the most entertaining match or the most beautiful match to watch, but the team was effective. And it was able to to grind the results. And we understand why the team could not be as fluid as would have wanted it to be. Because you understand that even in terms of the midfield, you had a central midfield pairing that is quite new, that was playing together for the first time. The pairing of Batusi Obas and Talent Mbata. We know that normally we've got Teboho Mokoena, Spelele Sithole, or Leroux in the central midfield. So of course you could not expect that they would immediately have the synergy and the connection to able to connect the passes and all of that. So that of course affected the rhythm of the team, because these guys had to have confidence on each other in terms of being able to pass each other and connect each other with the passes and all of that. But in terms of the physicality and the energy and the effort, you cannot fault Batusi Obas and Talent Mbata, because they were able to match the Benin players in terms of the physicality and the aggression. Talent Mbata even tried as much as he could to progress the team in the midfield. Although there were not much forward passes to connect with the likes of Pesitau, who had a much better performance to compare to the performance that he gave in the match against Lesotho. So we have to give credit to the team that it wasn't necessarily the most beautiful match to watch, but there were positives, and also must understand what is that affected the performance, that the performance was not necessarily in terms of the fluid, the passes and all of that was not necessarily what we wanted. Because you understand that the midfield combination is quite new. These guys were playing together for the first time. So it takes time to build the combinations. It's not just something that just comes overnight. What is important is that we're able to get the points. That's what is quite important. We're able to get the maximum points. That puts us at number one. So we must say kudos to the coach for that. And to the boys. The boys, they fought. Because that's what we've always lacked as South Africa. Sometimes we play beautiful football, but we're not as stately or do not have that aggression and the fighting spirit. The fighting spirit that is needed at times. That even when we are unable to play pretty football, but you've got this mentality to see the games through, to win the games by hook or crook. Sometimes that's what matters. That gets you to the next level, to the next stage. I think all of us, we must just begin to understand that aspect. That's my point. That's what I saw the match. I don't know what your perspective, guys. Let me hear you guys. What did you see? Did you kind of like enjoy the match? Where do you think the team needs to improve and all of that? So let me hear you guys. You know we are always welcome to comment to the comment section below. So go to the comment section below and comment and hear what did you make of the match. And please remember to like, remember to share, and remember to subscribe. Very importantly, guys, remember to subscribe to the platform. Thank you very much, guys.